football game on Sunday with the protests going on because it was declared an extraordinary event. They were basically searching people with bags. But ironically, it turned out that the only people they were searching with bags happened to be black protesters. So in that group, they put out a call for white people with bags full of supplies in case things popped off, to go to that area so that they could be there. And it worked, and they started doing the exact same thing. They started moving the line, and gradually you would see the officers step forward and just start pushing the protesters further and further away from the stadium, breaking up the protest.
Wow.
So it's extremely organized on the end of law enforcement. There's obviously a lot of secret behind the scenes organization going on that we're not really aware about.
So there are secret Facebook groups?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, technically, it's secret because there's enough white people and there's not enough black people, so you're not going to block the group. And, you can't get into it unless you're invited.
Someone has to invite you.
But these, when you say secret, so we're talking about revolutionaries and stuff like that.
You have people who are excited about the energy that exists within the community, and they want to do something about it. And so they're dedicated to do whatever they need to do to highlight the issue, highlight the problem, and say, this is an issue. And as a white person, I see that it's an issue, so why can't you? For a while, there was a logo of the crown with the teardrop. And people were like, don't you get a teardrop when you kill someone?
Yep.
And so they changed it to be a crown with a fist at the top, And then there's a meme where it changes to represent different things to basically say, this is the Charlotte we envision. We envision an open, peaceful, loving community. And we're willing to fight for that. So I think it's good to have white allies. You need white allies because of their advantage and privileges. So they are orchestrating these secret pages.
That's insane. I didn't know that. But I mean, because it's not. Of course, right away, it's a lot of white police officers pulling the trigger. But it's enough black people pulling the trigger too. It's more of a police versus.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's the police. It's not white. It's not white people. It's the police.
Yeah,
it's like they're like school. In order to pass school, you have to pass the propaganda.
Right.
You can, if you don't believe in the propaganda, then they'll say that your politics is not right.
Right.
And they won't put you in. They won't let you in. But you have to believe it.
You have to drink the Kool-Aid
if you want to wear the suit. Straight up, and like you said, 28,000. For 28,000,
but
you could work at a
the
warehouse.
military is similar to that.
The
you know what I'm saying?
Nah, man.
But you go in, and to a certain extent, you have to drink some propaganda tea.
Yeah,
and
it's a different flavor, though.
It's a different flavor, but the more you drink it,
yeah,
the more extreme you become. And those are the people who are entering the police force these days.
Oh.
A lot of veterans are joining the police force because of their experience.
This is true. I just feel like the military they've got a different brand too. You don't see people in the military murking out people.
But you do.
But they do though.
You just don't hear about it.
Jordan.
I guess so.
They do.
When they went through Iraq, dog, they was murking.
What is dropping drones on people? Come on.
Nah, man. I'm talking about innocent homes, bro.
That's war.
I know, but you could technically say... they want to throw it out there and say there's a police war, a race war. The country has been at war, with black people since black people set foot on.
It's
been about control, and that's what war is about. War is about control and power.
Right, but see, my problem is that most African, because you can't win no war out here peacefully protesting.
You can't win a war on drugs.
You can't win no war out here versus America shooting it out either. But you can ask the Indians.
Nah. You know what? The Indians, they had a similar problem. They had a similar problem. The Indians are tribal, just like black people. They're very cliquish. So when you've got settlers invading this territory, you got other people on both sides they ain't gonna come over here and do that. And yes, they are. They about to, as soon as they get done over there, they're coming to you. So instead of hey, let's stop worried about how many trees are in between us. Let's just believe that for right now we got bigger issues than what color you wearing, or who you slept with, or who what you did. But and I think that's so weird that like it's like I see people say like oh well, they be taking our leaders and this is that third. I'm like, yo, what other people has a leader?
Yeah,
there ain't no white leaders, there ain't no Hispanic leaders. Like, we don't need leaders to do what the fuck makes sense. It makes sense to be like, hey, like, like I see a lot of people now, like especially when I see a black man now, it's a, if we don't come out and say it at the end of the conversation, there's an air of, hey, you should be careful. You need to watch your six, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you leave here, you need to be mindful of what you do. That's how like I exit conversations with minorities now. The reason other niggas be successful is because it's like that from jump. Like, it's like that for the beginning. If you a Chinese man, or if you're like an Indian man and you come into this country, it's a group of people already. They waiting for you to come
to support you.
Yeah, to support you.
Right.
And then y'all go out all the time. Everybody's wife knows each other. All the children play together. So it's like we have this tight knit community here because we know everybody's out to get us. Like, I don't think that we practice racism like we should. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fuck it. Because you don't get a chance, dog. You get spoon fed Martin Luther King.
You get spoon fed.
And so what is that? That's integration. Like, yeah. And so like by the time you get done trying to integrate with the United States, and you look around, you be like, man, it ain't. You start walking into places like you the only black guy there. You
Exactly.
be like, man,
that's me often.
You're like, yeah,
I'm the only black person.
Like, it was reversed for me, like because I went to like white schools until I got to Barry,
right?
And like it was just so many black people. Then I went to A&T, so it was so reversed for me,
right?
True. Like, that's what happens though. That's the American dream, bro. To like separate yourself as far as you can away from black people, like because black people don't have wealth.
They don't.
And that American dream is wealth.
Or education.
Or education.
Or property.
That's three.
I mean...
So, like, the further you try to go up into this dream...
Can't progress without those things.
It's very hard to progress without those things. And that was my, like, one of my issues with, like, Obama. Like, when I'm watching the debate last night, and both of them said what they was going to do, and of course, they said that they were going to help people who look like them. They didn't come out and say it. But Donald Trump wants to help big business for older white men. That's a club that he enjoys.
Cool.
And Hillary said that she was going to fight for equal pay for women. And I'm like, that's what you should do. Like, your community gets a +1 when you get a president in there. Like, one of the things he should do is, like, look out for his own. Like, because I'm the nigga who can do it. But, like, I just don't feel like this nigga did nothing.
But he couldn't. There's not enough people that look like you, me, or anyone else in this room.
He didn't even try to, though. He never even mentioned it.
I mean, you have a Republican Congress that didn't want to pass the Affordable Care Act to give insurance to millions of people. And then the legislation that they passed essentially allowed states to pick and choose how they wanted to apply the legislation. So you have Republican states that decided not to extend insurance to its constituents. So it's like you can't, just because you're a black man in the #1 position in the world, if you don't have people that look like you to support you, like you were just saying, how can you make anything happen? And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people say, fuck politics, I don't want to vote, this, that, and the third. If you don't have people that look like you in positions of power, how are you going to ensure that anything that passes, legislation, policies, any of that, how are you going to ensure that they have your best interests at heart if they don't look like you ever? Because you don't vote or you don't support your politicians.
I don't support them. They lie to me.
They do.
They make false promises.
But you're only as good as your weakest link. You know what I'm saying? So if your politicians are weak, if they only pay attention to one portion of the constituency, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Alma Adams was originally the representative for like Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, like this weird stretch up I-85, and she lived in Greensboro the entire time. But now she's the representative on the ballot for Charlotte. She's never been in Charlotte. What does she know about Charlotte? She's been in Greensboro. That's where she's lived. But Charlotteans, and I really feel...
she's super old, right?
She's super old, and I really feel very strongly that the people that voted for her are old black people because that's old black people vote.
Yeah, they know the name. As soon as an old person see a name on a ballot, I gotta vote for that one.
Like, we as young black people need to exercise that. Like, we have to take it serious. We need to get people into those positions that look like us, that represent us. And it's not just that they focus on black people or black issues. It's just that, like you said, they don't have to come out and say, this is what I'm going to focus on. But because you're black, you have to say, this is what I'm going to focus on. Ending police brutality.
I think you should have to say that. I need to know explicitly that you're going after the police.
But that's because that's an issue that means something to you. If you're a white person, if you're a white woman, the pay gap issue sounds a lot more enticing than ending police brutality because that's not something you're faced with.
Right, and it should. And like when she said that, I was like, okay, I'm fucking with you. Like you should be like making the pay for women. That's something that's important and that's beneficial to people who look like you, regardless of what color they are. You're more concerned about like, hey women, alley-oop, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like how all the presidents before are like, hey old white man, alley-oop.
Yeah.
But like at no time was it like, hey black people, it was just like niggas was waiting, like niggas was like at the rim like doing that, like, hey, I'm about to No?
You gonna pass it?
No? Okay.
I mean, I can understand your disappointment in him, but his power is limited. Like, unless he passes an executive order, which he's gonna catch all sorts of flack from, and Congress might not even, like, they might take it and make it something completely different, there's only so much that he, as one person, could do.
Yeah, Obama's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he is to me. He's cool.
Like, it's cool. It's a balancing
cool.
act. As a black person, your life is constantly a balancing act between these two worlds.
Like, straight up. Like, black people got to realize two things. Either y'all gonna stick together, or y'all gonna start voting. Which one? Either you gonna like start sticking together, living in communities. You know what I'm saying? Donating to paying to black businesses, letting black businesses hire you. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna start voting for people that have your interests. Either way. But you can't, like, you can do both, but you can't do neither one.
Yeah.
And just be like, we're Americans, we in here too, you know what I'm saying? Give us something. Like, no, man, you gotta, either you gonna help yourself, or you gonna demand to help yourself. Like, it's either way. Like, and like, the thing about it is, black people in Charlotte have to get it together pretty soon. Like, because the way, like, they're going through Charlotte, it's not gonna be no more communities, bro. It's either gonna be, like, condos.
They're gonna redevelop it.
Oh yeah.
Like Brooklyn Village.
Yeah,
where they have like 112 affordable units out of like 600.
Like the light rail will be finishing when 2020
next year,
2017, all the way.
Supposed to be.
I know it's supposed to go to like from like University to Pineville next year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you think about all that business, all of those condos that's gonna line up on each side because like. The people just gonna work uptown.
Yep.
So,
because now you can just zip right there.
Yep. Zip.
No, you know what I'm saying. The traffic. You can now work uptown and avoid all the traffic from driving uptown to Pineville.
Technically, bro, like Charlotte getting there, you don't even need a car. If you're not from Charlotte,
almost
you don't need a car because like half the people you gonna know is gonna be from around that area, South End. You know what I'm saying? Like you really don't need a car.
Indeed, but yeah, man.
Yeah, but Joy, man, could you see yourself going down there and protesting? Like when does it hit home hard enough where you just be like, man, I just want to just let it out in the air for a little while?
That's the question right there.
I mean, it's been hit that hard, but like for me, a protest isn't gonna it's not gonna satiate my appetite. Okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to knock some heads around. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not finna be solo dolo knocking heads around. I mean, that's just asking to get murked out.
You got your gun permits?
I don't. I don't even like guns. So
but you like shields though, right?
I like a shield, but I don't like guns. I went to the gun range actually very recently, and I just did not want to shoot it. I was like, I don't want to use this.
Okay.
You know, like I don't want to get good with this. Like I don't want this. Like for whatever reason. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't need this. This is fucking excessive. Like I was in there thinking like, yo, the person on the right of me got a gun. The person on the left of me got a gun. Mad niggas ain't got guns, and they just